Hi, very warm welcome to you all. It's Gene from Mavstar. Good afternoon. Guys, we're going to be talking about what we're looking at in front of us very shortly. I just want to say, before I do, huge big thanks to those few people yesterday that chipped in a few bucks to our observatory. Also want to add on the back of that is, you know what? There's no adverts. Have you noticed? Isn't that nice? We don't earn advert revenue. We don't sell merchandise like cups, mugs, t-shirts, jackets, anything. We don't do no merchandise on this channel because I believe you're watching this for the scientific information and not to be doing your laundry shopping with me on this channel. So, you know, we're not here for your money. Simple as that. And you know what, if I had to live on what this observatory produced in revenue, I'd been dead 8 years ago. So all I'm saying is that, you know, there's obviously another reason why I'm doing this, isn't there? If it's not for the money, then what is it for? It's to inform my fellow human beings about, you know, the changes that are taking place and the lies that are being told. Simple and honestly as that. There is no motivation. I don't have any corporations funding me. There is no corporate interest whatsoever. I've kept this observatory clean, and when you go onto our website, you'll see there's no adverts there either. It's completely clean. That's the way I like it. I'm going to keep it like that. I will admit, before Christmas last year, I did have revenue coming in off the adverts, and then YouTube thought they could manipulate me, and you know, when I realised that, I dumped it. That's what you do. You know, I do earn a living other than what I'm doing here, and I don't broadcast it to people. You probably find it really interesting what I do for a living. I think you would actually like it, but I won't use that to promote me gaining more wealth either way, because you know, that's what everyone else is doing on the internet right now, aren't they? On YouTube, they got the adverts running, they're selling, you know, the merchandise, products that you don't need, and it's almost like that they are gagging for the next mainstream media article to bring to your attention and put their light on it. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just going to lay it right down on the line for you. What I do is bring a chart like this to your attention, and I just want to bring your attention to the right hand side where the 0 is, because that is our present time right now. And you can see that we have cycles every 100,000 years. This is a 450,000 year record of our climate on our Earth, and you can see what's going to happen next. You know, you don't need to be a scientist to work out that. You can see that we have these little periods of times where we reach you know, over 0 degrees, and that's called an interglacial period, and it lasts sometimes 12 to 15,000 years, and then it drops back off. And we spend, as you can see, most of our time in an interglacial period, in a glacial period, sorry. That's when most of the world's agricultural land shuts down, goes into hibernation for 100,000 years, and then we come back up. What causes this cycle is what's known as the Milankovitch cycle, and it's to do with our Earth, the way it orbits around our Sun. In an interglacial period, we're orbiting very circular around our Sun, and then we go into an elliptical orbit around our Sun in an interglacial period. We spend most of our time in the an elliptical orbit for most of our time, 100,000 years, and then we come back out of it. But we really have only started to thrive on this planet for the last 12,000 years. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens next, and I don't need to tell you what's going to happen next. You can see it. We have enjoyed the best that there was to have. And it's not going to get any better for us. Sorry to say, it's not going to get any better for us at this point on. It's going to get much worse. And the fact that we've managed to put 8 billion souls on this planet right now is very concerning to me. What we've got is the world governments telling us that CO2 is responsible for global warming and it is causing climate change. They've not even mentioned ever. One of these have mentioned interglacial and glacial cycles that talk about climate. They would rather talk about a 100-year pattern more than they would the big picture, the 450,000-year pattern. It goes beyond this, isn't it? Anyhow, it doesn't matter, it goes way beyond that. This is just a good example, and I think, good evidence to show people so that they can see exactly what's going on and how it goes on. Now you can see climate starts to warm and CO2 increases. First and foremost, the reason why CO2 is increasing is because the oceans will release more gas in a warmer climate, and the land will release more CO2 in a warmer climate. We are responsible for about, 0.5% of what naturally goes into the atmosphere with regards to CO2. You're probably thinking, well, look at the end of the chart then, Gene, it's gone off the roof. Well, I'll tell you right now, because I monitor the CO2 regularly here in the observatory. I know exactly what it's at. We're bobbing around about 440 parts per million. You might think when you're looking at this chart, fucking hell, humans have destroyed the climate by adding more carbon. What the governments are saying is absolutely right, but it's not. We need to go back, and we need to do a little bit more work, and we need to when we're doing that work in these Arctic core samples that we're going to core out, we need to look a little bit more specifically at a time frame of 40 years in 100,000 years. It's not fucking easy, as you can imagine. That is a big task. But what we will find, I am absolutely confident we will find it, is that what we're seeing right now is nothing what we have not seen in the past. When we look at the amount of carbon that man puts into the atmosphere right now, it's a small amount compared to what is naturally going into the atmosphere through the oceans and the land. And this, as we can see on this 450,000 year time period, is not uncommon. The other thing I want to say is that you will note that the temperature increases before the carbon. So what this is showing clearly is that man, even if he was responsible for putting the carbon into the atmosphere, he wouldn't be driving the temperatures. The temperatures drive the CO2, not the other way around. The cart is not pulling the horse. The reason why I'm taking my time out today to tell people about this is because I'm feeling like I never do enough. I feel saddened, at the loss of life recently in Kentucky with the floods that they've had. They're still trying to recover the bodies. And my heart goes out to those people. I cannot understand their losses. But what I've been thinking about is what I can do, if people are prepared to listen, is say to them, look, take on board that we are in severe climatic changes, and that this is affecting millions of people all over the world. It's not just related to America, the UK, Europe. We've seen it. You know what? I could show you videos every single day of a flood event, of massive rainpours. It's because the jet streams right now are laden with water as a result of extra cosmic rays. It's as simple as that. They are loaded. And if you look at the jet streams today compared to what there was like 20 years ago, you wouldn't recognise them. Trust me, you wouldn't recognise them. And no climatologist is talking about this. What we've got today is interactions with the jet streams, both polar and subtropical. We've got subtropical interactions taking part with each other over the equatorial region. This is all new to climatologists. They have never seen this before. We're supposed to have a beautiful ring of jet streams at 30 degrees, your polar jet streams, your subtropical jet streams at 60 degrees, and vice versa over the southern hemisphere. It's not the case anymore. We got super jet streams that come straight from the Arctic regions into subtropical regions, and they dump everything in there because they have also been loaded up with cosmic particles, which are seed platforms for water vapor to condensate on. When we get those mixtures, we get these events. And what I want people to know is that if you are in your house one day and you notice that there is a fucking load of rain coming down and you've never seen it rain like that before, then understand it's not normal and that it could go on for a long time. I want you to do a little bit of geographic research on your location right now, where your family are and your loved ones are, and see if you're on low-lying lands. Are you on floodplains that was not flooded for the last 100 years? Because if so, that don't mean nothing. Low-lying land means that the rain finds its way to you eventually. Choose where you live more cautiously, because you can see where we are right now at the end of this chart. You know what's coming. You don't need to listen to a scientist to know where we are going from here, because it's on its way. It's coming soon to your door. The only reason it hasn't at the moment is, as I've said already, it's just by mere and pure luck. I don't want to hear of many more people losing their lives because of their misinformation by what their governments are supposed to do originally in the first place. Inform them. I'm telling you right now, and we haven't even reached equilibrium yet. Things are going to get uglier than what we are seeing right now. I promise you that. I want to show you something. Take a look at this. The red line is where we currently are. And what that represents is millions and millions of kilometres, square kilometres of ice rebounding over the Arctic Sea right now. You can go onto our website, Poleshift News, anytime you want and have a look at this daily. It's updated every day. What this shows us is something else from what the mainstream media are talking about. This is a 10-year event now. You can see where the line is. You can see the dates going right back to 2012. So we're talking 10 years. What does that mean in your mind? How much ice is that? It's the size of Europe. Covers pretty much most of England as well. It's a huge expanse of ice that's regained over the last 10 years. Says a lot for global warming, doesn't it? Not one mainstream media, organisation, news outlet has even bothered to bring that to your attention. Shocking, isn't it? I showed you on the last chart that we looked at where we was heading. We're going back into a glacial period. You don't need me to tell you that. You saw it yourself. We're watching ice rebound over the northern hemisphere. I would say, an interesting rate, to say the least. Yet, it is still only 10 years trend that is being broken. So let's not get our pants all in a twist. We know where we're going. What we're seeing is showing us we're going there, but we need to be a little bit more patient, because I think that there's some other events taking place on our Earth, and mainly in the regions of the mechanics of geomagnetics, that is helping bring this on a lot quicker. Because as though we do go through 100,000 year cycles, we're also going through something a little bit different this time. This time we've got a magnetic reversal taking place. Last time, 780,000 years ago, if you don't mind me omitting the excursions that have happened. And we're 500,000 years overdue. Let that sink in. Guys, if you want to help support us, and I thank those that helped us yesterday, and hope a couple more come along today and keep us going here at this observatory. And if you can just lift a finger, if you cannot be passive, if you can be optimistic and want to help someone, even if you can't help yourself, make this more aware to other people, the link is there. It's as simple as that. I'm not selling you mugs, I'm not selling you jackets, I'm not selling you anything you don't need. We're asking simply for your help. The link is there. Be observant. Take care of your loved ones. As always, bye for now.